This video is a summary of ion pumps. A viewer sent me this slide. I think they did a fantastic job. They used artificial intelligence to create it. And they did a great job. I wouldn't even know how to do this. This is, I think, magnificent. So I'm going to summarize what's the deal with ion pumps. I've already made a lecture. It's one of my best lectures ever called Ion Pumps with Metaphors. But just so you can see it in a summary slide, the whole point was calcium is the most important ion in a cell. When calcium rises in the cytoplasm, the cell does whatever it's supposed to do. And calcium is like Big Mama, the queen. Okay, in any regular family, the mother usually bosses everybody around. And she's not reasonable. She's like a dictator, okay? And when she walks into the house, everybody has to do something. She yells at the kid, clean up the dog crap. The other kid, put the dishes away. Yells at the husband, you're supposed to clean the garage today, etc. All right, now potassium is like dear old dad. He's working hard every day, paying the bills, just trying to make things work for everybody. Okay, and you need to have high potassium inside the cell at all times. Okay, magnesium is kind of like the superhero. Think of him as like the strong uncle who lives with you, and he's physically strong to do important things like to hang on to the second and third phosphate in ATP, to block the NMDA receptor, to prevent calcium from coming in when it shouldn't, okay? And then sodium is like the angry poor. Sodium is high outside the cell. So normally, calcium and sodium are outside the cell. They're the extracellular space, just like seawater. They're, because God made life on Earth beginning in the sea. So the seawater is like the extracellular space, high in sodium, high in calcium. And the sodium is more like the angry poor trying to bust into the place. And you can use that to good effect when you want to pump out calcium. Okay, and that's how cell physiology works. So again, see the lecture on ion pumps with metaphors, and it'll all make sense. But if you remember that seawater contains salt, sodium chloride, and then the salt water rinses over the limestone, the calcium carbonate, so that's why you have high calcium and high sodium outside the cell. Then inside the cell, in order to have life on Earth, you have to have counterbalancing ions to maintain osmolarity equality. Inside the cell, it's the potassium that matches sodium, and it's the magnesium that matches calcium. And basically, whenever the cell wants to do something, it lets calcium come into the cytoplasm, and that activates it. I actually think what's probably going on is that the inside of the cell is typically rather gel-like, the fourth phase of water, and the calcium entry fluidizes it, and then those reactions are carried out. I think that's what's really happening at a deeper level, not to mention all the changes in ionic gradients, both concentration gradients and electrical potentials. Okay, and you eat the plant foods. Inside of the plant foods, because you're eating whole plant foods within the cells, you're going to get the potassium and the magnesium. Magnesium is located right in the center of chlorophyll. Okay, so anyways, that's how it works. I hope you found that helpful.